Hello, everybody, welcome. What was a psych investigator? Hello, everybody, welcome. What was a psych investigators? So, guys, I did a video about Venezuela. It may not be public yet. I'm not sure. I think I was thinking of doing this third video and putting it on first. Anyway. So several people have sent me this information that Kamala Harris made statements to the BBC that she could run for office again. So let's look into that. One second, let me share this with you. So here we have both the New York Times and so this it's interesting, the headline here from TMZ, Kamala Harris teases presidential run. Kamala Harris, my niece might see me become president. Interesting. And Kamala Harris suggests she is considering another presidential run. Mr. Harris, in an interview with the BBC, gave her strongest indication yet that she was thinking about making another bid for the Oval Office. Now, before we go into that, I want this is sort of indication, right? That people sometimes I get comments, people saying, "Oh, Kamala doesn't really want. She's tired of everything." Increasingly, you will hear from her, hearing from the horse's mouth, so to speak, right? It's clear that that's not what is going on in her mind, right? So again, I'm just cautioning that people believed, like I guess some readers or whatever, all right? And I never believed that. I always thought that that's not who she is. She's this person that she's feeling more and more comfortable discussing, right? Like she's fine. I'm fine. She's fine being honest about where her mind is, right? So I find this interesting. So now let's do the protection. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that it create the good and not the good. So it is. All right. So let's go. Hey ho, let's go. Let's do the TMZ. My nieces might see me become president. Kamala Harris isn't ruling out a presidential run. The former VP says she could possibly be the next president in an interview set to air on BBC Sunday morning, teasing that she may throw her hat back in the ring for the future. Okay, so she confirms, that's right, she confirms that she's not done. I don't need to read the whole thing. I just wanted to show you this because these are very credible. These are credible outlets, right? Not BBC, the New York Times. So the next time anyone says that Kamala, oh, she's tired of, she'll never want to clean up, whatever people say, right? This is what she's saying. So she could speak for herself, and that's what she's saying. Now, so I did cards for this. But before I do the cards, let's do the um let's do the questions. Okay, with visions first. All right. So because guys, this to me is so interesting just because to me it means a lot. It means that she's talking about it, right? That she is okay, so okay. So why did Kamala make these public statements? Let's see. It's interesting. I see an image of her heart and she's opening her heart. Okay. And I see interesting that she's still recovering from what I feel like it was this massive tragedy. They stole the election from her. And not only did that happen, but she experienced also a betrayal of those that she thought would stand by her. And so now that time is passing, and I see that she feels increasingly strengthened by the book tour and the energy that she picked up from her supporters. She is starting to feel like she doesn't need to be quiet about it. She wants, like us, like she wants. I guess she can't quite say it in public, but that's what she's hinting that it's she feels like we do in a way that something is going to happen. That has to happen. And so she's just speaking her mind. Like she knows, I feel like she knows that she has power, that words have power, and that the more she talks about it, the more almost like the more likely it is to happen. It's not really a manifestation thing in that sense, but she wants the American public to know that uh that's on the table. Okay. So, okay. Now, then I asked the question. Meaning, could something happen? And guys, as you know, I always have this is what I feel will happen, but the timing is very complicated. Even if I feel like it could happen at whatever time, it's very unpredictable, very hard to tell. But let's just see, is there a way that she could become president in the next 6 months? And another question I asked after this one is about is whether is there a chance that Trump could be removed in the next 6 months? Okay, so first this one. Could Kamala become president in the next 6 months? Okay, I see that she's standing at this time wearing a white pantsuit, and she's standing really tall and really big, like big in terms of scale. And Trump is really small and like a child in a messy house, like in the sense that he's messing up the White House like a toddler, a treasonous toddler. And she's standing there because she knows that's her job. Like he's messing up with her job, but she's kind of ready to take over, I feel like. So, okay, so Kamala's watching the scene wearing white pantsuit. But what happens next? She's seeing the destruction, the demolition, and how awful it is. And that she is remembering everything she's experienced in the White House, the time that she spent in uh, the East Wing, and mourning those experiences. Okay, so then what happens next? Wow. And then she's seen helicopters. And you know when you've seen when the helicopters move something, they grab Trump, like as if he was a piece of furniture or something, and lift him out of the White House. And he's like shaking and like with the little hands and everything. And then they clean up the mess and they tell her, that's right, we may not be able to move in right away because of the mess he's made. But we need to also like we need to clean out the bugs and all that. And then you can come in later. But I see that she may have to go somewhere else, actually. I see, yes. In other words, the other possibility, but that it may not be livable for a while. And I see they point to this, the antenna they had to remove related to the Starlink thing and the degree of foreign interference. So interesting. Okay. Okay. All right. Very, very good. All right. So, okay. So then let's see. Could Trump be removed from office in the next 6 months? What's going on today? He's wobbly. He's like tantrumy and breaking things. And it shows me that he's breaking things because destruction is his vital energy. As long as it's destroying something, he's alive. Okay, shows me like sometimes children break things also. Okay, so he's like, wow, like all the impulses coming out and pressing the buttons and call button, this and that, da da da. I want this, I want that. And I see that oh, interesting. It tells me that what I saw before, where and this has happened, guys, right? That in terms of Ukraine, the decision making has been transferred to a US general based NATO general, right? In part of the US military, I think, right? He's essentially the supreme commander of NATO or something like that, this American general. And so Hegseth was sidelined, and so was Colby, the man who definitely works for Russia. So they're telling me that this is the beginning of the military definitely not trusting them. And it's saying that it's saying they're watching, and he's working as they know that he's talking to these foreign countries there, and there's all these things happening, and I think it's possible, yes. And I see that, yes. And again, I see the motion of them having to remove him because there's definitely a threat to our national security. And then I see them going with a letter to Vance saying that he has to resign because we have information. And interesting, I see from NATO that the US election was stolen with the help of Russia. And wow, wow, wow. Elon Musk seems to have like signed a letter that is then shown to JD Vance admitting that he participated. Wow, that's guys, sounds good. That is we process is interesting. Interesting information. It's interesting information. It's a weird. Okay. Not weird. It's good, but it's like, wow, wow. So, guys, sometimes it's good to keep the questions short because then I get what I get. I tell you what I get, and then I process. I don't overthink it. Okay. So now I did pull cards and took pictures, but I think this is great, honestly. Um, the visions here. Now let me get that to show you. All right. Okay. So pause. So this is the first question that I use cards for. Okay. So why did Kamala say she could run for office again? All right. So it's really interesting because the first card here is the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is famously the card of wish fulfilled, getting what you want. And here is the first line. This is how I did it, right? I did one row at a time. So Nine of Cups, getting what I want. Now, the Ace of Pentacles is the lack of a manifestation, lack of fruit. Like it didn't materialize, but she got what she won. We know that, right? And then the next to it is heartbreak. So I also, when I pulled the cards and I was reading it, literally reading it, I got that this is an impulse for her to grab what is rightfully hers. She believes this is her rightful place. Therefore, she needs to do it, state what she wants, because she feels that she's been robbed of something, and she's heartbroken. And this is something that I noticed in her book. By the way, I have not finished. I just started, I told you, right? And I was so taken aback by the beginning of it that I haven't returned to it. Okay. But anyway, so this is the first row. Now, the second row here, you see that you have uh, the stork, which means change, the house, literally White House, and the coffin. So changes in the White House. White House, there's an ending of the White House. I wondered, huh? And here we have meeting, or a meeting of some sort. Big luck, good luck, big, big, big positive something for her in the White House. So, oh no, that's not what I put. So this is really interesting, right? So again, this is the cards related to the question of why did she make that public statement? So now this is a sort of a big spread here. It's kind of, I thought, interesting. And I don't know if you don't like cards, so you can skip, right? But okay, hold on. So here is, could Kamala become president? So I'm gonna start here with the first row. I know there's like a lot. Well, no, that's 9 cards. 9 cards, all right. For a type 9 positions. So the first here is the tower. Let's see. Let's see if I can. The tower. So the first card, the tower upside down. So something creating a change, something falls apart, right? And the card 20 is something public, sad news in public, something big happens that changes things, right? Then we have here the sun upside down, something is revealed. Now 7 card is a card of the snake. The snake could be a spy. And here's a man with money on the table. So the moneyed man turns out that he's a spy. This information is revealed. And here it was interesting, the Empress upside down. It could be her, right? It could be also the way the country feels, but I think in this particular reading, we're talking about her. It could very well be her. We have the 16, which is stars, and it definitely could mean network. It could definitely mean satellites, stars, Starlink, right? And here is a judge. So agreements related to Starlink, right? Okay, now this is the first row. So because again, remember the question, could she become president in the next 6 months? So here we have below lovers. Lovers is an agreement, is a alliances, partnerships. The 30 card is a experienced older man, usually foreign. So because it's this right below this tower card, it could show the relationship that Trump has with a foreign government, right? Then next here is a new beginning, a new beginning. And what's interesting is that these 2 cards here, 32 Lenormand, which is the moon, Lenormand, and the 25 in Kipper, Zuhohen Ehren Kuben, it means recognition of something, right? So the 2 cards actually mean recognition, something is recognized, becomes known. And there's a new beginning as a result of this, right? Then we have the 4 of Wands is a classic card of a house. People are happy in a house. The White House could be, right? Here we have happiness or invitation and the deal. So there's a deal, there's a confirmation of something happening. Happiness at the White House. This definitely can't be with trash, right? All right. Then we have here this position, defeat, election, private. So if you look now, let's look here in it doesn't let me, does it not let me? Okay, it doesn't let me go. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it does something weird. Okay. Anyway, so you see here that on the left row here, we have the tower upside down, the lovers, and then the defeat here, right? We have the election in private. So something falls apart, becomes public, and it's sad news because we learn of the alliance between the older man and the foreign power. And then there's defeat through something private related to the election. Then we have here the next is Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is an offer. Usually it's not, sometimes not super serious, but we have 23 is the mice, it's not showing. The mice means stress, it could mean hacking. And we have here below falsche Person. So it could be that it was hacked and there is false people could mean a treacherous person. But if you think of votes, those votes that registered are false people, right? Fake people. The numbers are not correct. 2 of Wands upside down means chaos. Sometimes it could mean, I guess, avoiding risk, but I personally think of it as chaos. The 11 card is whip, aggression. And this is also, kurze Krankheit means illness, but it can also mean sexual activity. And the 11 card means aggression, but it could also mean sexual activity as well. So it could be that the information related to Epstein comes out and creates chaos. So does it make sense? So all of this to say, it is a lot of cards, right? I know, but it tends to me points to the picture that there will be things that are shocking that will come out and that will show something related to the election, and that a man here has made deals as a spy to overturn the election, right? And so but then it ends with an agreement related to the election, and there's a possibility, yes, I think it's possible, but essentially all of this stuff has to happen, and it's not really related to her. It's related to trash and the truth about what happened in the election coming out. It looks likely that it could happen. Okay. All right. Now there's just the last, just the same way I organize the questions here. I also have a last set of cards, which is could Trump be removed within the next 6 months? Okay, so let's go to the cards for this. We have your world. World is completion, so it could also be something foreign, but tends to be a very good card. The Four of Cups is an offer, and the Two of Cups upside down. Dissolution of alliances or relationships problems. Okay, below we have a good man. Prison, change, right? Here, okay, let's see. Well, that's really the world, right? Like I said, the good man here. The key, something important related to this man, something that is global or worldwide. An offer, prison, a lot of money. It could also be votes, a lot of something. We have the Two of Cups, which is dissolution of a relationship, problems of a relationship, a big change. And a friend through or because of friends or with friends. So to me, because the central card really is prison, we see that now the good man, I don't feel like this is Trump. It could well, I don't think Elon Musk is good either, but it's a man over the age of 40. It could be, well, that there's a man here that is the key, that is the key witness to this. And there's an offer that he gives of information to avoid prison and things change. So this card here of eine Verhandlung is a big deal. I explain this card sometimes to people when I say that. Back in the 19th century, when these cards were designed, people rarely moved. And if they move with something, if people move, that means a very big change. It's not a minor thing, like, oh, somebody's gonna like today, people's lives, so many things gonna happen because of the internet and modern society. But back in those days, it meant a very big change. So again, a big change to something better once others stuck. Okay, so it's interesting. I find it interesting. So okay, so thanks for watching. I'm glad to share this with you guys. It's nice. It's always good to check on the main subject. So, all right, okay. So thanks for watching and have a good evening. Bye bye.